Good morning, America. Monster storm. More than 60 million Americans under winter alerts. Snow, ice, and severe weather from the plains to the East Coast. A blizzard warning in the Midwest. Spinouts on the roads turned into skating rinks.
You ready for this?
How it's affecting road and air travel on this final weekend of the holiday season.
Saying farewell. The 6-day state funeral for former President Jimmy Carter now underway. Americans paying their respects, people lining the roads, waving flowers and American flags. The tributes ahead this week in Washington.
Chilling new details about the suspect in the deadly New Year's rampage in New Orleans. What we're learning from videos made just before the attack, plus the FBI's request to the public and the new barriers on Bourbon Street.
Congestion pricing taking effect overnight in New York City.
Now it's time to get started with this historic change.
The cost of driving into Midtown, how New Yorkers feel about it, and which cities could follow suit.
I'ma show you how I get it done.
Ravens soared to victory, repeating as AFC North champions. How Lamar Jackson made history on the field and the games to come today. Plus,
you're great.
I am. Hollywood's award season gets underway with the Golden Globes and hints of what's to come at the Oscars.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. So great to have you with us on this Sunday. We got the Golden Globes coming up, football.
Football last night. My husband, my dad were up late yelling at the TV, so
right?
I knew it was a good game.
Exactly. We got a lot of news ahead, too, as well. And, of course, it's the unofficial start of the Entertainment Awards season, as we mentioned, with Nikki Glaser as the Golden Globes' first solo female host.
Oh, well, that is going to be good. Yeah, looking forward to that. Also today, President Biden signing a major expansion of Social Security. The new law will make full benefits available to 3 million more Americans. We've got more on that just ahead.
But we do begin here with that big storm sweeping across the Midwest this morning, covering a large part of the country with snow and ice. ABC's Victor Oquendo is live for us in Cincinnati right now, a very cold Cincinnati. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Gio. The brunt of this storm just west of us, and it is headed right this way. We're expecting the snow to start falling here in Cincinnati in just a matter of hours, and conditions will quickly deteriorate. This morning, a monster winter storm barreling east. More than 60 million Americans under alert as the massive storm is set to bring heavy snow, freezing rain, and icy conditions. Heavy snow already falling this morning, with blizzard warnings stretching from Wichita to Kansas City. In Virginia, crews treating the roads in preparation of what's to come. Ice already creating treacherous travel conditions. In Missouri, multiple cars spinning out on the highway. This 18-wheeler sliding sideways in Wichita, Kansas.
What I want to show you, though, is that this roadway is very slick.
State troopers demonstrating just how dangerous the roads can be.
That's what we're dealing with out here, and it's not getting any better, it's getting worse.
Many bracing as the storm plows east. Shelves empty as shoppers flock to stores to gather essentials. From food,
we're just trying to stock up on groceries because the snow's coming in,
to supplies.
The mighty old saw.
So there is still some time to get those last-minute supplies before the worst of this arrives. Some of the roads in the area have been salted. Plows are standing by. But with snow, the possibility of freezing rain and sleet, we are looking at a long 24 to 36 hours ahead.
Yep, all of the above. All right, Victor, thanks so much. For more on the impact of this massive storm, let's get right to meteorologist Samara Theodora timing it all out for us. Samara, good morning to you.
Good morning, Whit. So we have winter alerts stretching from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic. One of the more recent alerts that has been issued is the blizzard warning for Wichita and Kansas City. As we head through time, notice that about 1 p.m. this afternoon, a lot of the ice is just south of St. Louis with some heavy snow falling along I-70. By tomorrow morning, I want you to listen up. If you live in the DMV, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, even down to Richmond. This is significantly going to impact that Monday morning commute. We may even be in for a lot of school delays and cancellations. Okay, as far as totals go, this could be one of the biggest storms D.C. has seen in the last 3 years if they get over 6.9 inches of snow, which is certainly possible. I can tell you now, this is not a good situation for those who are going to be traveling, wrapping up the last bit of the holiday travel. Janae?
All right, travel, school delays and cancellations possible. Our ears perked up. Samara, thank you. And as Samara mentioned, that storm hitting as many Americans wrap up their holiday time off. Air travel at record highs, and passengers already dealing with thousands of flight delays this weekend. And that's before that storm is already hitting. ABC's Alex Brochet is in Washington with the details there. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Janae. So the bottom line here is that if you are hoping to travel between now and Monday, you probably want to have a plan B in your back pocket. This is the final weekend of the holiday season that set a record for air travel, and this storm is already wreaking havoc. The Kansas City International Airport was forced to temporarily close due to ice Saturday, and airlines are already bracing for more trouble today, with some major airlines taking steps to help passengers rebook their flights now. American Airlines says travelers in 45 affected cities can change their flights without fees through tomorrow, so long as those tickets were purchased before New Year's Day. Delta's weather advisory runs through tomorrow for the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic, allowing passengers in affected airports to rebook for free. And United says it's waiving most change fees for weather-related disruptions at affected Mid-Atlantic airports between today and tomorrow, so long as those tickets were bought on or before January 2nd. And for drivers, be ready for icy road conditions in the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. Kentucky and Virginia have already declared a state of emergency. Governor Youngkin saying if your post-holiday travel plans have you leaving Sunday, I encourage you to adjust those plans. Gio?
Yeah, make those travel changes early. All right, Alex, thank you so much. We're going to turn now to the 6-day funeral for former President Jimmy Carter. The funeral motorcade already made its way through his hometown of Plains, Georgia, before heading to the Carter Center in Atlanta. And that's a live look right now inside the center where the public is honoring him. So many honoring him. ABC's Steve Osunsami is right there in Atlanta. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, Gio. This national goodbye began with people lining up on roadsides and highway overpasses as the procession passed them by. Here at the Carter Center, people have come to lay flowers and jars of peanuts outside the sign behind me. He was, of course, one of the world's most famous peanut farmers. And inside, the visitation has seen people come through the night to pay their respects.
For the family of Jimmy Carter, this was a cold and difficult day, but the skies opened up and the sun shined down brightly upon them and upon their father, who they've had to share with the world. His state funeral started quietly with Secret Service agents who carried his casket, who had protected the president and former First Lady for years. The Carter family watched it with tears in their eyes outside the rural hospital that cared for the former president and his wife. People came from small towns in Georgia and from around the world, lining the roads, waving flowers and American flags. One woman held a sign saying what so many felt: President Carter, a man of honor. The first stop was at his childhood home in Plains. The National Park Service rang a large bell at his family's old farm that would wake them up for work in the mornings. After a 4-hour drive through backcountry roads, his remains arrived at the Georgia state capitol, stopping for a moment of silence in a place where he once served as a state senator and governor. Children who were nowhere near being born during his presidency were seen saluting the 39th president as he passed them by. Before he died, the former president insisted that the first event of his funeral take place here at the Carter Center in Atlanta. His son Chip shared both laughter and tears as he thanked the scientists and peacemakers here who worked with his mother and father for decades.
And the two of them together changed the world. And it was an amazing thing to watch from so close.
People who braved the cold waited in line to pay their respects through the night. The ongoing public visitation is open all day and all night until Tuesday morning.
The former president's remains will be moved to Washington on Tuesday, where there will also be a public visitation. The state funeral is Thursday, and President Biden is scheduled to deliver a eulogy. Then the former president will be moved home to a private ceremony where he will be buried with alongside his wife. It is a spot that the two of them picked out before he died, and they will be together once again. With
another chapter in that remarkable love story. Steve Osunsami for us. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We do turn now to New Year's Day terror attack in New Orleans, the city holding a vigil overnight for the victims as we learn more about the suspect behind the wheel. ABC's Christian Cordero joins us with the latest. Christian, good morning.
Whit, good morning. Among what investigators are looking at right now, videos the suspect posted on social media before the attack, shedding light on a potential timeline of his radicalization. This morning, chilling new details seem to paint a picture of the suspect's mindset in the hours before the New Orleans attack. Sources tell ABC News around 1 a.m. New Year's Day, Shamsuddin Jabbar made multiple videos in that rented pickup truck, saying in one of them, "I wanted to record this message for the family. I wanted you to know that I joined ISIS earlier this year." He spoke in calm tones, sources add, and hinted that he had contemplated harming members of his own family, but wanted to do something bigger that would steer focus to what he called the war between the believers and disbelievers, telling his family, "I don't want you to think I spared you willingly." As investigators pour through the suspect's physical and digital footprints, the FBI also urging any survivors of the attack to come forward if they have not done so already, saying it has received almost 1,000 tips in the first 2 days of its investigation, as it expands resources for those affected by the tragedy. On the streets of the French Quarter, a new construction zone on Bourbon Street, the city installing those new security bollards that were being replaced before the attack. Now moving with urgency ahead of the Super Bowl next month. Overnight, a vigil for the 14 lives lost.
She was a caring person. She worked in nursing homes.
Courtney Polk remembers her older cousin, Latasha Polk.
She was always a happy person. The mother, she leaves behind a son.
So far, there is no evidence any of Jabbar's social media videos were flagged to law enforcement before the attack. Now, tomorrow, President Biden and the First Lady are scheduled to visit New Orleans to grieve with the community. Whit.
Christian Cordero, thank you. And tune into This Week later on this morning. George Stephanopoulos has the latest on the New Orleans attack and the wider terror threat environment with Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and Representative Michael McCall. Plus, former White House COVID coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha on concerns about bird flu. That's all coming up on This Week. Janae?
All right, and we're going to stay with politics to now what may be the last major piece of legislation President Biden will sign into law. He's putting his name on a bill that means 3 million more Americans will now receive full Social Security benefits. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is in Washington with those details. Mary Alice, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Janae. And President Biden will sign the Social Security Fairness Act into law this afternoon. And yes, likely one of the last major pieces of legislation he signs. It's all about getting more money into the pockets of retirees. This law expands Social Security benefits to about 3 million retired teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other public servants by repealing old policies that limited Social Security payments for some retirees who also collect public pensions, as well as their widowed spouses. Now, while some Republicans were worried about the price tag, it will add about $200 billion to the deficit. This bill did pass with large bipartisan support. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said it was Congress finally correcting a 50-year mistake. And this law is retroactive to cover all of last year for eligible recipients. People are encouraged to make sure their mailing address and other information is still correct at the Social Security Administration's website. Gio?
Yeah, make sure that information is right. All right, Mary Alice, thank you. We're going to turn now to a first for a major city in the U.S. Starting this morning, drivers are going to have to pay extra if they go into the busiest part of Manhattan. ABC's Phil Lipoff has more on this. Good morning, Phil. A lot of people talking about this.
Just what drivers want to hear, Gio. Good morning to you. New York City's Transportation Authority says congestion pricing is not only crucial for breaking through all that gridlock in the city, but for future investments in the city's all-important transit system. Still, some see it as an additional fee, a tax, even unfair. This morning, New York City has the green light.
We've been talking about this in New York for close to 50 years. Now it's time to get started with this historic change.
Starting today, the nation's largest city will be the first to charge drivers $9 to enter the busiest part of Manhattan, or as the Metropolitan Transportation Authority calls it, the congestion relief zone, which includes local streets and avenues south of and including 60th Street. Toll rates will vary by type of vehicle and time of day. In an already expensive city with inflation still affecting the price of almost everything, the plan is generating mixed reaction on the street and online.
Feel like it's a lot.
A new program's coming to New York, and it could completely transform the city.
Not only is it going to be $9, but in 3 years, 2028, it's going up again.
After months of delay, lawsuits, and a lower price point than the original $15 suggestion, New York's Governor Kathy Hochul getting federal approval, citing environmental concerns, traffic reduction, and money needed for the MTA. The new toll is expected to reduce the amount of cars in the city by 80,000 and collect billions for transit improvements. New York is not the only one taking on congestion pricing. Several cities, Washington and San Francisco, have looked at it as well. Cities across Europe already on board. London, Milan, Stockholm already have similar plans in place. Former New Yorker and President-elect Trump, whose Trump Tower penthouse is in the congestion pricing zone, has already said he strongly disagrees with Governor Hochul's decision, calling it, we'll quote this for you, the most regressive tax known to womankind. The MTA will phase this toll structure in over 6 years, so by 2031, it will cost drivers $15 to enter the zone.
Okay. And isn't our new office moving into the
That's
charge zone?
exactly where it is.
All right. I'll make a note of that. Start saving. Phil, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Now to Boeing's updated safety plan. 1 year after a door plug flew off a 737 MAX jetliner in flight. ABC's Jacqueline Lee joins us in Los Angeles with more. Jacqueline, good morning.
Well, good morning. Yes, if you'll remember, all 737 MAX 9 planes were grounded at the time until inspected. The FAA announced it is taking a series of steps like reviewing the changes Boeing put in place, meeting with Boeing weekly to review their progress, and conducting a number of unannounced audits. They say this is not just a one-year project, and the oversight is here to stay. Meanwhile, Boeing says it is reducing defects by increasing inspection points, introducing a customer quality approval process, and using employee feedback to address items in commercial airplane production. The company says it also invested in its Speak Up program. It allows employees to feel more comfortable raising concerns confidentially and know the status and resolution of their reports. Now, this comes after many Boeing whistleblowers raised concerns about the company's safety. And there have been a number of incidents with certain types of MAX planes that include fatal crashes and groundings going back to 2018. The CEO of Boeing said to Congress that the company developed a comprehensive safety and quality action plan with specific metrics to hold themselves accountable. Boeing has always maintained its planes are safe to fly. Guys.
All right. Important information that impacts a lot of people. Jacqueline, thank you so much.
All right. Now to the NFL. On the last weekend of the regular season, a division title won overnight. Another day of hope for the Bengals here. ABC's Ike Jachi is here with more. Hey, Ike.
Hey, good morning. Listen, that playoff picture, it's becoming a little bit clearer right now, starting with the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cleveland Browns. It was a record-setting day for quarterback Lamar Jackson, throwing for 217 yards and rushing for 63, becoming the first player to ever record 4,000 passing yards and 900 rushing yards in a single season, all while getting this, being the first player to throw 40 touchdown passes and fewer than 5 interceptions in a season. The Ravens dismantling the Cleveland Browns 35-10, repeating as AFC North champions. But it wasn't all roses yesterday. Ravens star receiver Zay Flowers injuring his right knee early in the second quarter. He never returned to the game. That's a key injury just before the playoffs. Now next, the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bengals need a win and some help to get into the playoffs. Bengals QB Joe Burrow connected with Jamar Chase for the first score in the game. Then in the third quarter, Burrow taking a nasty sack. He was shaken up after the play, but eventually returning to the game. Now, Russell Wilson, he did have a chance to lead the Steelers on a game-winning drive, but they just came up short, losing to the Bengals 19-17, ending the Steelers' season with a 4-game losing streak. Now today, the Broncos are taking on Kansas City. Broncos and the Miami Dolphins need to lose for the Bengals to make it in. And of course, the Lions taking on the Vikings tonight. Winner gets the #1 seed and a first-round bye. Janae, I know you'll be locked in on the TV.
You know what? I was just thinking I need a diagram. I was leaning in, but I need a diagram to keep it all straight because I'm confused, but Herm's going to break it down.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got Herm Edwards coming a little later in the show. Break it all down for us. I thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I'm not confused because of you. I'm confused because it's sports. just so you know. Okay, still coming up here on Good Morning America. Remembering indie film star Jeff Baena, husband of and collaborator with Parks and Recreation star Aubrey Plaza.
Also, it's Dating Sunday, the busiest day of the year for dating apps. So we're bringing in an expert to help you freshen up that profile.
And the contenders tonight at the Golden Globes, the New Year's first big award show. We'll have much more. Stay with us right here on GMA.
Come with me. What? To meet the wizard. I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming.
And welcome back to GMA on this Sunday morning. You know what that is. Wicked. It has won over audiences worldwide. It won over Whit Johnson, who just watched it not so long ago. Yeah. Tonight it finds out if it wins any Golden Globes. The movie is up for 4 awards. And coming up, Will Gans takes a look at tonight's top Golden Globe contenders.
What do you think?
Something tells me it's going to win a few awards.
Yeah,
I think so, too. I mean, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, they're up there.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see. In the meantime, though, let's take a look at some of the other big stories we're following on this Sunday morning. Happening right now, more than 60 million Americans are under alert as a massive storm barrels east, and it's set to bring heavy snow, freezing rain, and icy conditions. Lake-effect snow already blanketing parts of Ohio and New York. Ice creating treacherous travel conditions on the roads and at airports. Most major airlines are waiving fees for travelers caught up in this winter storm.
Also right now, President-elect Donald Trump hosted Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni at Mar-a-Lago. He introduced her to the crowd gathered for a movie screening, calling her a fantastic woman. Meloni flew to Florida to meet with Trump days before she's set to receive President Biden in Rome.
And we have some sad news here. Hollywood is remembering writer and director Jeff Baena, who police say died by suicide in his L.A. home on Friday. Baena was married to actress Aubrey Plaza and co-wrote the acclaimed 2004 film I Heart Huckabees. He most recently collaborated with his wife on the comedy series Cinema Toast and the 2022 film Spin Me Round. Jeff Baena was 47, and we have to remind you here, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please call 988. That's a 24/7 hotline. There is always someone there to talk to you.
Always someone there to talk to you if you need help. Important information. For adding that. All right. But in the meantime, we are going to start this half hour by recognizing that today is what's known as the Super Bowl of dating. Match predicts a 40% membership increase today, and that the busiest minute on the apps today will be 9:05 p.m. Eastern time. How they came up with that, we're not sure. But here to break it all down is podcast host and founder of Smart Dating Academy, Bela Gandhi. Bela, we love when you are here. So great to have you. Tell us, what is so special about the first Sunday of the year? Is it the New Year resolution? I'm going to get out there.
Yes, 46% of adults in this country are single. So we've made resolutions. I want to fall in love.
Almost half?
Almost half. And Sundays are the busiest day of the week. So you put those two things together, boom, you've got the busiest online dating day of the year, which is today.
Okay, so if we know this is a big deal, what should people do to approach this day and take advantage of it?
So get excited. Freshen up your photos, switch them up, put on a good headshot where you're smiling, a good body shot, but make sure that your photos are current. You don't want them to be too glammed up. Remember, people want to date the person in the picture. So those are really important things to keep in mind. And let someone else choose your photos. All the studies show that we don't pick the best photos of ourselves. So let somebody in your village pick your best photos.
That's a good idea, but you have me blushing saying body shot. What? Okay.
Full body, full body, not like that.
Not too much body.
Okay.
Good grief.
Not
a family show.
Fully covered body.
If you're dating in 2025, you're saying don't rush into things.
Do not. In fact, take a step back and reflect. Have I been dating the same kinds of people over and over again, and it's not doing it for me? Change things up to find love this year. And yes, Gio, go slow. People want to speed things up and go on fast forward. Take it slow so that you don't ignore red flags during the process.
Okay, so let's say you make a connection with someone. What's the best way to actually reach out and message that person? Because you can definitely make some mistakes in that process.
Absolutely. So the first thing is make sure that you video chat with this person, right? You want to see this person live. And remember, crazy can't hide for maybe more than 10 minutes. So if you video chat with them, you're not going to waste a lot of time. And then when you're messaging, make sure that you're ending it with the question. So it's like a tennis match. When people just answer your questions, it's like womp womp. So ask a question, be conversational.
This is really good information.
Really
Not that
good.
any of us are actively dating because we're all married.
But you know what's so interesting? I just learned about your January.
Yes, because me and my husband, I always tell Bella when she comes to visit around this time, my husband and I matched on Tinder on January 6th. So right at the beginning of the year, I said I'm going to meet my husband.
You know, Tommy and I matched on January 6th. Yes, on Instagram.
What?
Yes.
Stop. The universe is talking.
This is really the Super Bowl of dating. This is it.
Oh my God.
You're not lying to us.
Not at
Look
all.
at that. All these
Not at
years
all. It's
later.
real.
Oh my
Thank you so
gosh.
much, Bella.
Thank you,
This
as
is why we
always.
love having you here, Bella. Thank you so much.
And a look at the big NFL matchups on this last week of the regular season. Joining us, as always, ESPN football analyst and coach, our buddy Herm Edwards. Coach, good morning to you. It's great to have you with us. We always love to ask you about the Eagles, of course. So let's talk about Saquon Barkley today, sitting out, even though the NFL's single-season rushing record is just within reach. Do you agree with this decision?
Well, yeah, it's his decision. I don't agree with it.
You think he should have gone for it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Eric Dickerson has the record at 379. That's how many times he carried the ball. Saquon's carried the ball up to date 345 times. He needs 101 yards to break a 40-year record.
Wow.
Look, it's been standing there for 40 years. You're 101 yards away. I get it. You know, you're worried about players getting hurt. He's not going to get hurt. I would suggest this. You play 20, 25 plays in this football game, break the record, and then go stand by me and figure this thing out. I think it would be a great thing to do in Philadelphia, not only for himself, but the offensive line, as well as the fan base. It's a historical moment.
I was going to say that sounds like a Philly fan.
Yeah, you can do both. You can break the record and still go to the Super Bowl. You can do both. It's okay.
You have the cake and eat it too.
There you go.
All right.
What surprises do you think that we'll see on this final Sunday of the regular season, Coach?
Well, surprise of this. I say this. We don't talk about them a lot, but we're going to talk about them today. How about the New York Jets being the Miami Dolphins? This is Aaron Rodgers' last game of this season with the Jets. I could see him beating the Dolphins today at home just to make a statement that, you know what, I'm not done yet. And then the Jets are going to have to make a decision. Is Aaron Rodgers the guy they want to play quarterback next year? And if they don't, the next question I would ask is who you going to get? So a lot to be said going forward with the New York Jets.
Okay.
All right, a little shade, though, from my Miami Dolphins. All right, let's check those numbers. Who's with Herm?
Yeah, let's look at those numbers.
Here's the tally right now.
Pull up those numbers.
Season coming to an end. Witt's got 13. Janae's catching up with 12.
Hey,
Herm, you've got 11. And I got that lucky 7 right there. Lucky 7. There is no Monday Night Football game, but the Vikings take on the Lions tonight for the number 1 seed in the NFC tonight. Why is this such a big game, and who do you like?
Well, think about this. The loser of this game is going to win 14 games and have to go on the road in the playoffs. You're going to go 14. You win 14 games, I got to go on the road and play in a playoff game. I think this. I like the Vikings right now. They're a hot football team. Sam Darnold and this Viking team has won 9 in a row. It was a close game earlier in the season when the Detroit Lions beat them. This is something that the Minnesota Vikings are looking forward to, going on the road and being an outstanding football team in the Detroit Lions. But I like the way the Vikings are playing. And I think it's going to boil down to this. What defense can take the ball away the best in the red zone?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go against Coach Herm on this one because I know that he still can't catch me for the end of the season in terms of our picks. I'm going with the Lions.
Okay.
That's okay. You go with the Lions. I'm going with the Vikings.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings because I can catch up, and this is the week that I even it up with.
Well, we'll see.
And I've learned to go with Herm. I'm going with the Vikings.
Yes.
Going with the Vikings.
So Witt is like Saquon Barkley. He's sitting in the soft seat. He doesn't want to play today. Yeah, because he's got to leave. He don't want to pick.
Hey, I got a sore knee. You know, I got to sit this one out. You know. Hey, Coach, we don't have much time left, but quickly, you got a Super Bowl prediction for us?
If I was picking today in the AFC, I would say the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson and this team is playing outstanding football if you've watched in the last 3 weeks. Hot offense, really good defense now taking the ball away. And obviously, you know the team I'm picking in the NFC. It ain't real hard to figure out.
Right. We know.
Fly, there we go. With a well-rested Saquon Barkley. Thank you, Coach. We'll see you soon.
Always
as
a good time, Coach. We appreciate you. And so coming up here on Good Morning America, the kickoff to Hollywood's award season with the Golden Globes, our Will Gans will be running down the favorites. Stick around.
And we are back now on GMA. We're talking movies here. The long road leading up to the Oscars, leading with the Golden Globes. And Will Gans is looking at all the contenders, so many, Will.
Yes, and it's not just contenders I'm excited about when we're talking about the Golden Globes. Even the presenters at this year's Globes are enough to make any fans of comedy and live award show moments want to watch. We're talking Melissa McCarthy, Awkwafina, Mindy Kaling, and Catherine O'Hara, all set to take the stage tonight. And one more funny lady who steals every show she's a part of these days.
I can put this down, right? No,
Jennifer Coolidge is back in the award show spotlight.
I don't work out, you know what I mean? I can't hold it that long. I'm a very needy person.
The White Lotus winner presenting at tonight's Golden Globes, the unofficial kickoff to award season.
I'm putting Twisters all the way in the back. I don't think my relationship could handle that kind of eye contact with Glenn Powell.
Nikki Glaser will be the show's first ever solo female host, after the successes of last year's Tom Brady roast and her hugely popular HBO stand-up special.
Every time I'm stressed out and I'm like, oh God, I have so much to do, I'm like, oh my God, Snatch. Like.
This year's top nominees are The Brutalist, starring Adrian Brody, which clocks in at a staggering 3 hours and 35 minutes and is shown in theaters with an intermission.
They do not want us here.
Who do you mean?
The people here, they do not want us here.
And on the comedy and musical side, expect big things from Wicked.
You're great. I am.
And Amelia Perez, starring Selena Gomez, who, millennial alert, is a nominee alongside fellow former Disney Channel stars Zendaya and Miley Cyrus and Nickelodeon star Ariana Grande. Speaking of TV, it will likely be a big night for Shogun.
War is coming.
But the Golden Globes are notoriously unpredictable.
What is going on?
I do love those moments in the Golden Globes. Okay, now nominations voting for the Oscars begins this Wednesday, you guys. So any major momentum or especially notable acceptance speeches tonight could translate to some voting there as we count down to the Academy Awards on March 2nd right here on ABC.
How cool.
We got some catching up to do, by the way.
We do. We have a lot of things to watch, but you're keeping us abreast of it all, Will.
Yeah, I got you. That's what I'm here for.
There you go. And we'll be right back with our play of the day.
Some wild moments on the ski slope here. Take a look. This skier, this is in Finland, heading down the trail when all of a sudden, watch what happens here. Uh-oh.
Wait, what? Is that a ski?
The boot comes loose.
Whoa.
Takes off without her.
What? No.
Chasing that boot. One leg, capturing the whole episode on her camera, laughing at the situation. The ski taking off downhill.
And look how the boot is skiing.
Oh my God.
Look, that's the amazing part. Finally heading it off. And managed to get the boot back with no major injury.
My anxiety is a little high.
So when Gio goes skiing in Miami, he has a similar experience. Very similar.
When you're shredding the NARS, like that.
We got both strapped into one board. It's a little bit easier.
Oh, he's a snowboarder.
Yes.
ABC News Live Weekend, I got it. Sorry, I know that was your line, but I'm doing ABC News Live Weekend. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you.